Florida's Dime City Cycles will seek out a rusty 40-year-old Honda for a project bike. A Virginia sheep farmer and country lawyer electrifies an antique Norton road racer. Ride with modern-day mods and rockers at an annual gathering in Texas. And the piano man Billy Joel trades in his keyboard for a set of handlebars.
What's up, man?
Hey, Arm. How you doing, man?
Good, brother. What's up, Scott? How you doing, man?
How you been? How you been?
Good,
Want to come and look around, see what we can find out here about the interested in?
I want
Yeah,
we want to
absolutely.
look at. I want to check out some Hondas, bro. Some old Hondas.
I've got bikes here from the early '60s to the late 2000s. I've got bikes that have been in accidents. I got dead man motorcycles in here. I picked up motorcycles that had meat hanging off of them. I got one motorcycle over there. I bought two bikes. One was hitting the front, one's hitting the rear. We made one out of it. I got scooters. I mean, look around. I got $1 million worth of motorcycle parts here.
What was that? Where's the engine of that thing?
Actually, I don't know what that is.
If you don't know what it is, then it's probably only worth like 20 bucks.
No, come on, yeah.
But what do you want for the engine?
Yeah, the engine will be worth about $400 or $500.
$400 or $500.
Well, you know, it's a good rust.
Valve covers are
What do you want to pay for it?
I want to pay $75 for
Oh,
it.
come on, it's worth that much in scrap.
How do I can't
It's got a
even-
chrome valve cover
I can't
on it.
even check if
It's got a
it's got
good side
compression.
cover. It's got good compression.
This is worthless. Let's not even think about it. Scott, I really want a 450, man.
We got a 68 around somewhere. It probably might be in the other yard. Oh, it's around here
Big
somewhere.
bad
Let's
way.
go over here and have a look. The old Gold Wing, the little trials bike, little 200 Yamaha.
No.
750 Yamaha over there.
Yeah, whatever.
Oh,
Look at that.
Oh, you find something you like there?
No, not what I'm looking for. But it could work for the other project we were talking about.
Careful, don't scratch it.
The 1968 Honda CB450. And it's almost intact. Throw a number at me, Scott, and I'll tell you what I think.
I'd like to get $1,000 for it.
Holy shit. And I'd like to have a girlfriend on the side. That ain't never gonna happen. I can't give you $1,000. I'm probably at best, Scotty. I'm thinking the top I can do on this thing is $500.
Man, I paid that much more for it when I got it, and it's been how long now?
If I don't take it, it's gonna sit here for 10 years because there ain't nobody else building
But you know what?
450s but me.
No, there's a guy coming over from England and buying up motors because they're racing these things over there in England.
Well, he ain't gonna buy this motor. It's f***ing seized.
He don't care. He don't care. Come on.
That's it. This is for my freaking carburetors that I gotta replace.
What kind of carburetors you want? I got some carburetors around. Let's empty that
Good.
pocket out. Come on.
You can throw them in. That's
and
it,
you got
brother.
some more in that other right pocket. Let's
Scott,
look.
for real, I can't do it.
Throw another 50 on it.
No, that's it, dude. That's 700.
That's 700.
Otherwise, I won't be able to freaking eat.
I got some soup in there.
That's it. You know, you're a haggler.
Hold on, let me see.
Yeah, you already shook
3,
on it.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They got a deal. I mean, the bike is worth more than what it is, but I'll hook them up. You know, they're cool. Well, the next one, I'm going to get a little bit. No, it's going to be my turn. Bend over, baby. He's going to pay for that one.
Got that one? Hold it.
Yeah.
On the next edition of Cafe Racer, the Dime City boys tear into their 40-year-old Honda, where they find all sorts of grease and grime.
Swamp goo. Oh, look at that, man.
All par for the course as they prepare for their build.
She's got a good soul.
After the break, sheep farmer Brian Richardson builds the world's first zero-emission Cafe Racer.
I'm a country lawyer. I practice law here in Highland County and live in Bluegrass, Virginia. Always wanted to build a cafe racer, but I wanted to do something different. I started thinking about putting an electric motor in my cafe racer. Now, one thing it would have to do to qualify as a cafe racer is break the ton, do 100 miles an hour. But I have no engineering background and don't really know anything about electricity. I've got this Virginia Tech class helping me out.
To build a motorcycle from the ground up is an enormous task, and working with Brian, it's great because he's got all the practical knowledge of building a motorcycle, where we're trying to bring a little more technical background with the engineering.
Let's get these shocks on and then put the seat on.
All right.
The seat looks really good. That'll work good. We're going to have about 180 pounds of battery up front, down low. We're going to have a motor right here and a controller, and there's nothing up top. So this will be a bike, if we're lucky, might come in just under 400 pounds and everything's right on the asphalt.
At Virginia Tech, we were trying to design something that would go maybe 40, 50, 60 miles on the charge, but could be affordable and at least sort of competitive to today's sport bikes. So with leaving our design and going with Brian's design, we were allowed to think outside the box and allowed to do a lot more things because he's designing to be very competitive in a racing class.
Brian's Team Electra is competing in the TTX Grand Prix. It's the world's first zero-emissions motorcycle racing series. His spark had better be hot because he's competing against some real heavy hitters.
We are definitely the underdogs at the TTX GP. They're teams that are being sponsored by Ford and Google and Tesla and a lot of teams that are involved. There was a write-up recently about a new electric motorcycle, and they commented how they were able to get this company started for a mere $50 million, which made me raise my eyebrows because we're just spending a few thousand. Let's stick the motor in first. It's kind of heavy. You need a hand? Okay, you got it. All right, just slide it through there and put the terminal slightly forward, slightly angled towards the battery box. Yeah, and of course this is an AC motor. You got to be careful. We're just doing rough fitment right now. And the controller, let's see.
Look as where the transmission used to be in a normal motor.
Well, on the Norton, this is where the transmission would be. The motor would really be where the battery box is. And this is our controller. This is our black box. That's, well, as you know, I think this is an AC motor, an induction motor. And so we're going to fit this right in here. And I've got to find some brackets, but it's going to sit right there. And really, at the very last minute, we found the technology that we're using this year, which is lithium polymer batteries, not lithium ion. And I've come to find now that a lot of the other teams that look to be competitive are using that technology as well. It's quite thin. It's only going to be about a third of an inch thick, and 18 inches by 12 inches, and it'll fit right in this box, just like that. And there'll be 16 of them here, and we're going to be running 130 volts and 100 amp hours. We're hoping 100 amp hours is enough, but later in the season, if we're finding out we just don't have enough power, we can always put a gas tank on it, put another set of batteries. I feel like electric bikes have a place in the future of motorcycling. But the problem that I have, not so much with the range, but I think you've got to make the bikes perform. I think you've got to make the bikes a little bit sexy, have a little bit of speed to appeal to motorcyclists.
The real goal for this project is to gain the experience, and if we can make a rolling bike at the end of the year, that would be outstanding for us. And to be able to enter in these competitions and go to the actual races is something way further than we expected to be able to get in our first year. So this is a great opportunity for all of us.
So we're definitely the underdog, but we've got a plan, and a plan as to how to beat them. And that plan has everything to do with a 1960s cafe racer.
On On the next edition of Cafe Racer, Brian Richardson takes his barn-built Norton Electra to the track, where he'll compete with the big boys. After the break, Dallas hosts a confrontation of epic proportions. Modern-day mods and rockers recreate that 1960s cool.
Settled their differences a lot of time by racing, record racing. You know, they would play some music, they'd usually run across a bridge and get to a certain point and come back and see who would win before the record was over.
Today, the legends of England's cafe racer scene continue in the Lone Star State, where modern mods and rockers are inspired by famous races, rumbles, and dust-ups from 50 years ago.
If it didn't happen back then, we wouldn't be having this right now. And we're just reliving that whole culture that they had back then, and it was a great time.
Mods vs. Rockers Dallas is now 4 years old, but Texas, with its bigger is better bravado, seems like an unlikely place to find Vespas and Tritons.
The Dallas-Fort Worth area has had a long history of British motorcycles. Lots of good dealers over the years supporting the bikes and the sport.
We love the smoke, the oil they leak, the problems they give us, the feel of going 100 miles an hour on them, and just all the noise that it makes.
I think the rocker culture's never really kind of gone away, but I was surprised to see that there was like a British-looking rocker culture here, and I really only discovered that about 5 years ago.
Don't mess with Texas, right? Well, the mods and rockers of mid-60s England may have created headlines and produced legends, but today's version is slightly less dangerous.
Yeah, there's no big punch-ups. You know, it's all about having a good time.
Our relationship with the rockers is really cool. I mean, you know, we don't typically hang out together, but it's not like, you know, Brighton Beach or anything. I mean, we don't fight or, you know, throw stuff at each other.
It's more like a winking club, you know?
I like riding with the rockers. I do. Like, I like keeping up with them and riding with them.
You can see a motorcycle pretty much anywhere, any corner of the street, and nobody cares. But you see a Vespa, and I get nothing but smiles and people pointing and waving and honking and stuff like that, and I love that. I love getting that reaction.
Motorcycles are cooler than scooters, and that's the end of it.
While the vintage bikes and scooters stay in the same era, there's been a shift in rider demographics. The baby boomers are aging, but the new generations are finding form and function in Grandpa's iron.
Luckily, my customer is actually getting younger instead of older. 10 years ago, the average customer was probably in his 50s. We're getting real lucky because a lot of the young guys are getting away from the newer modern bikes, and they've got a whole new rocker scene going.
Like, a lot of us actually ride 360 days out of the year. A lot of us do the majority of our own work. It's really cool that the cafe scene is a scene where you might see somebody 75 years old with the first bike they ever bought, and they're still riding that thing. And then you've got kids like me running around who just happen to love it. So we get taken in, take us under their wing a little bit, work with us, we can learn a few things, and comes out making events like this.
I take a lot of pride in this festival. People just love to come out and see these vintage bikes, and then love to see everyone getting into